Remember, remember, the 5th of November, the Gunpowder Treason and Plot. I know of no reason why the Gunpowder Treason should ever be forgot. Guy Fawkes and his companions did the scheme contrive, to blow the King and Parliament all up alive. 70 barrels lay below, to prove old England's overthrow. By God's providence him they catch, with a dark lantern lighting a match. Halloa boys, make the bells ring. Hollo boys, God save the King. Hip hip, hurrah. Every November the 5th, the night sky lights up with fireworks, bonfires roar and effigies burn. We call it Guy Fawkes Night, a fun family tradition. But beneath the sparks lies a darker story, one of rebellion, repression, and how the powerful use history to keep the masses in line. Welcome back to Documentalists, and this episode, Remember, Guy Fawkes' journey from plot to propaganda, where we uncover the Gunpowder Plot not as a foiled terrorist act, but as a masterclass in societal control. We're about to explore how a 400-year-old conspiracy became a tool for conditioning obedience. Let's rewind to 1605. Queen Elizabeth I is dead, and James I, a Scottish Protestant, had taken the throne. English Catholics, persecuted for decades, had hope for relief, but James doubles down. Fines for skipping church, banishments for priests, and raids on homes. Jesuit accounts paint a picture of terror. Families torn apart and faith criminalised. Enter Robert Catesby, a fiery landowner scarred by failed uprisings. He rallies a band of desperate men, which included Thomas Percy, the insider, and Guy Fawkes, the explosive expert with battlefield expertise from abroad. Their plan? Stockpile gunpowder under the House of Lords and blow it sky high during the King's speech, sparking a Catholic revolt. But was this pure fanaticism or a cry against tyranny? Critical historians argue the plot was born from systemic oppression, a last gasp of the marginalised. Yet whispers persist. Did state spy master Robert Cecil know all along? Alternative accounts suggest he orchestrated leaks like the mysterious Monteagle letter to discover the plot at the perfect moment, turning potential chaos into political gold. Some say the Monteagle letter was too convenient. Handwriting links it to insiders, and Cecil's letters show he had intel months before. This wasn't luck, it was leverage to crush Catholic dissent and solidify Protestant rule. Fawkes is caught red-handed. Under torture, authorised by the King himself, he names names. The plotters flee, fight and fall. Catesby dies in a blade of defiance. Trials are showpieces, biased, brutal. Heads on pikes, bodies quartered. Justice or a spectacle to terrify the masses? The plot fails, but its legacy ignites. Parliament declares November the 5th the day of Thanksgiving. Churches ring bells, sermons warn of popish treachery. Over time, it morphs into Bonfire Night. Effigies of Fawkes or the Pope burned amid fireworks. Sounds like fun, right? But let's dig deeper. These rituals aren't just parties, they are psychological anchors. In towns like Lewes, processions with tar barrels and anti-Catholic banners became ceremonial dramas, outlets for unrest that kept society stable. Riots turned orderly, channeling working class energy into loyalty parades. Burn the effigy, cheer the King, a reminder that rebellion ends in flames. Marxist lenses reveal class warfare. The plot, a petty bourgeois backlash, gets twisted into propaganda. Bonfires condition peasants. Don't rise up or burn like Fawkes. Foucault would call it disciplinary power, rituals that make submission feel natural, bodies disciplined through spectacle. These fires aren't random, they're dissymmetry in action. Rulers above, subjects below, internalising control. No need for chains, the bonfire does the work. History shows the powers that be love these tools. The plot justified anti-Catholic laws, oath-splitting loyalties. In Kent towns, orderly fifths boosted civic pride, turning potential rebels into competitors for best library. It's genius, distract with rivalry, reinforce authority. And today, think how crises become holidays, reminders to submit. Secret histories expose it. Cecil's forge of plots, James's convenient deliverance. Was it real or rigged? Either way, it conditioned generations to fear change. But Fawkes flips from villain to anti-authority icon. In films, masked, he's the rebel. Yet the rituals persist, whispering, obey. As fireworks fade, remember, history isn't neutral. The Gunpowder Plot teaches how events become chains, rituals binding the masses. Question your bonfires, challenge power. Thanks for watching. Remember, Guy Fawkes' journey from plot to propaganda. If you're feeling kind, give us a like, share, subscribe, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Is Fawkes a terrorist or a symbol of resistance? See you next time on Documentalists. Thanks again.